Kimora Lee Simmons promising to fiercely protect Diddy's daughters, Delilah and Jessie.
Yeah, my mom's is gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom, called Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Mom?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Or as a parent, you worry. You want them to be okay. You want them to be safe.
Courtrooms aren't usually the stage for unraveling family legacies. But this time, the tension went beyond legal arguments. A moment between Kimora Lee Simmons and Janice Combs stunned those watching. Not because of what was said, but because of what it revealed. At the center of it all are Diddy's twin daughters, once shielded by their late mother and now caught between loyalty, legacy, and rising suspicion. What looked like a standard guardianship role has taken on a far more complicated tone, drawing whispers from inside and outside the courtroom. The confrontation didn't happen in a vacuum. It came after a buildup of quiet moves, public appearances, and subtle control no one wants to admit to. From caregiver to controversial guardian.
A shocked and devastated Diddy spotted at the home where his ex suddenly and mysteriously died. Her good friend Kimora Lee Simmons appearing inconsolable at the house, 47-year-old Porter's body found after a desperate call to 911.
Following Kim Porter's sudden death in 2018, Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, stepped in to help raise the late model's twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah Combs. Initially seen as a grandmother fulfilling her duty during a family tragedy, Janice's involvement has since been pulled into sharp public scrutiny. Some close to the family now question whether her influence crossed boundaries, especially as disturbing stories about her past and parenting style have resurfaced. Reports claim she did more than offer emotional and logistical support. She allegedly began shaping the girls' lives in ways that raised red flags among those familiar with Kim's original approach to motherhood. One of the central concerns raised in court and online stems from accusations that Janice exposed the twins to an environment that was far too mature for their age. Rumors suggest she may have gradually introduced them to adult social circles and encouraged behaviors that critics argue are inappropriate for teenagers. These claims are not confirmed, but they've gained momentum amid broader allegations against the Combs family. The situation has become even more complex, as court watchers have noted Kimora Lee Simmons confronting Janice during proceedings, allegedly snapping at her over how she's treated the twins. If true, this confrontation hints at serious underlying tension over how Jessie and Delilah have been raised since losing their mother. Adding to the unease are whispers that Janice might have used her role to position the twins for public appearances and business ventures at a pace that felt exploitative. The girls' clothing brand and media exposure have drawn both admiration and criticism, with some questioning whether these opportunities were empowering or controlling. Observers wonder if Janice, knowingly or not, pushed the girls into the spotlight as part of a larger strategy to maintain the family's image and financial clout, especially as Diddy's legal troubles escalated. The line between guidance and overreach is murky, and that ambiguity has only fueled the debate around Janice's influence. At the heart of the controversy is a deeper question. Was Janice truly stepping in to protect and support her granddaughters? Or was she continuing a cycle of control that others in the family have been accused of? While no formal charges have been brought against her, the allegations and speculation paint a picture of a complicated dynamic, one that may have put Jessie and Delilah in vulnerable positions under the guise of care. A blueprint for future abuse? Growing up in Harlem during the 1970s, Sean Diddy Combs was surrounded by environments that many consider highly inappropriate for a child. His father, Melvin Combs, was known in the streets as a violent figure tied to organized crime, and was ultimately slain in a shooting when Diddy was still a toddler. While his mother Janice initially told him it was a car accident, Diddy later confirmed that his father had been shot in the head. A revelation he said changed the way he viewed himself. But the circumstances that followed may have had even more lasting effects. After Melvin's death, Janice was left to raise Diddy alone, and reportedly juggled multiple jobs, including working as an escort at night. According to several sources, clients were brought into the home, exposing Diddy to explicit adult behavior from a young age. Reports from people close to the family claim these early exposures were not isolated incidents, stating that Diddy's childhood friend has gone on record alleging that Janice hosted frequent wild parties at their apartment, where it was common to walk into rooms and witness adults engaged in intimate acts.
So remember when I said Diddy mother might be the originator of the freak-offs? All right, so apparently tomorrow there's the Peacock is dropping the Diddy documentary. It's called Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, and the doc gets into Diddy's childhood and his experience growing up in connection to the lawsuit and allegations he's currently facing. According to the Rolling Stone, the doc features an alleged childhood friend of Puff's, hip-hop producer Tim Dog Patterson. He alleged that Janice, Diddy's mom, would often throw parties at Diddy's childhood home. He says that during the parties, it wasn't uncommon to walk into rooms where adults was having, that was just their normal. And the doc, when talking about the parties, Tim says, verbatim, "That's what we were privy to. This was what we were fed."
The same source believes that what Diddy witnessed during those years may be connected to the disturbing allegations he now faces. Though these accounts are unverified, they raise questions about the environment Diddy was raised in and how normalized adult explicit behavior may have become to him early on. Could repeated exposure to such situations have shaped the way he perceived boundaries and consent later in life? Adding to this speculation are Diddy's own public admissions. In a past interview, he shared that he lost his virginity at age 12 and had developed a pornography addiction around the same time. He described himself as unafraid and already experienced, crediting shows like Midnight Blue, a late-night adult program in New York, for his early comfort with explicit content. On its own, such a statement may seem like a reflection of urban adolescence, but in the context of federal lawsuits involving illicit trafficking, coercion, and exploitation, some observers now see it as a potential indicator of deeper issues rooted in childhood trauma. This brings up a difficult but necessary question. Can early exposure to adult environments lay the groundwork for future boundary-crossing behavior? While it doesn't excuse any criminal actions, understanding the origins of someone's psychological development could shed light on repeated patterns. For Diddy, the allegations against him may be part of a longer story, one that began long before he became a celebrity. Life behind closed doors. The emotional impact of recent legal proceedings involving Sean Diddy Combs has reportedly taken a significant toll on his twin daughters, Jessie and Delilah.
They walked into the federal courthouse in Manhattan, hand in hand, in a gesture of solidarity.
While the girls have made public appearances alongside their siblings to show support for their father, courtroom insiders and reports suggest that their presence may not reflect the full reality. During graphic testimony in court, particularly involving descriptions of alleged abuse connected to Diddy's past relationships, several of his children, including Jessie and Delilah, were seen leaving the courtroom visibly distressed. Observers noted their discomfort when one former male escort described explicit details involving Cassie Ventura, allegedly under Diddy's direction. For the twins, the experience of hearing these accounts may have been far more personal than it appeared on the surface. Sources close to the situation have speculated that the girls' reactions could be rooted not only in shock, but in a deeper, more complex form of recognition. Some insiders claim that Jessie and Delilah may have begun to piece together similarities between the testimony they heard and their own experiences growing up, from the people they were exposed to how they were reportedly prepared for public life. While there is no direct evidence confirming inappropriate grooming, the timing of their reactions has led some to question whether the court proceedings triggered unresolved trauma. Could the emotional breakdowns observed in court be more than grief or embarrassment? Could they be signs of something deeper they were never able to articulate? Adding to the concern is the twins' decision not to attend college immediately after high school. Instead, they announced to focus on their fashion brand, which many initially viewed as a business-savvy move. However, behind the scenes, some reports suggest the choice may have been driven by anxiety and emotional exhaustion. Facing public attention and peer judgment while carrying the weight of their father's accusations could understandably feel overwhelming. Those close to the family speculate that the girls may be avoiding environments where they would be questioned, scrutinized, or associated with Diddy's legal troubles, even indirectly. As more details unfold in court, the focus may eventually shift from Diddy to the potential long-term effects on his children. Jesse and Delilah's reactions raise questions not just about the trauma they've witnessed, but what they may have lived through, and whether their current state reflects deeper emotional scars from a life they never chose. More than a supportive family friend? Kimora Lee Simmons has long been viewed as a loyal friend to the late Kim Porter, but recent developments suggest her role in the Combs family dynamic may be evolving into something far more active. Since Kim's passing, Kimora has reportedly stayed close to Porter's children, especially the twin daughters, Jesse and Delilah.
And, Diddy, how are his daughters? How are the twins? I know that you
They're
have a
great.
close
It was just my
relationship with them.
birthday, and they came over. We had dinner together, Jesse and Delilah, yeah.
How are they coping with everything? There's a lot going on, in
They're
the
being
household.
fabulous, and I love them so much, and I have their back.
However, with growing concern over their well-being amid Diddy's legal troubles and the allegations surrounding Janice Combs, speculation is rising that Kimora may be considering legal custody of the twins. While no formal custody petition has been filed publicly, some sources close to the situation believe discussions are quietly underway. Supporters point to Kimora's long-standing bond with Kim Porter and her children as evidence of genuine concern rather than opportunism. At Kim's funeral, Kimora made a public promise to look after the children like her own, and some believe she's now trying to fulfill that commitment.
They're just beautiful, and I love them so much, and I, have their back always and forever, and they know that.
What's raised eyebrows is not just her emotional attachment, but her recent behavior in and around the courtroom. Reports claim she's confronted Janice Combs directly and been visibly protective of the twins. If true, these interactions could signal more than just frustration. They might reflect a deeper intention to intervene in a legal or custodial capacity. Taking legal custody would be a significant move and could mark a turning point in the family power structure. If Kimora were to pursue guardianship, it would likely require proving that the twins are in an environment deemed unsafe or unfit. That could mean exposing more details about how Janice has been raising the girls since Kim's death, a process that might bring additional family secrets to light. At the same time, it would put Kimora under increased scrutiny, both legally and in the public eye, especially given her own past high-profile relationships and family circumstances. Still, many are asking, is this move truly about protection? Or could it also impact the Combs family legacy and control of certain assets? Jesse and Delilah are not just teenagers, they are public figures in their own right, with a growing brand presence. If Kimora were to become their guardian, she could gain influence over their image, decisions, and potential inheritance. Whether this would be a safeguard or a power shift remains to be seen. But it's clear that Kimora's involvement may soon go beyond emotional support and into legal action. Supporter or silent enabler? As federal investigations into Sean Diddy Combs continue, public attention has turned not only toward the artist himself, but also toward his inner circle, including his mother, Janice Combs. While Janice has not been charged with any crimes, her name has surfaced repeatedly in commentary and online discussions speculating about her possible influence over Diddy's behavior. Some observers now question whether her role in his upbringing and later involvement in his household could be viewed not just as passive oversight, but as active complicity or silent enabling. The allegations against Diddy involve disturbing claims of coercion, grooming, and abuse, prompting a closer look at the familial dynamics that may have shaped those behaviors. Several reports suggest Janice was a dominant presence during Diddy's formative years, allegedly exposing him to adult environments at a young age. Her past has been linked to claims of hosting explicit gatherings in their home, which some say blurred the lines between parental guidance and inappropriate exposure. While these allegations remain unverified, the repeated references to Janice's potential role in shaping Diddy's worldview have not gone unnoticed. Critics are asking whether her influence extended beyond his childhood, and whether she might have helped create or normalize some of the power dynamics and behaviors he is now accused of replicating in adulthood. What makes the situation more complex is that some sources allege Janice's influence continued into Diddy's adult life, particularly when it came to how the women and children around him were treated. Reports indicate that Janice played a major role in the lives of Diddy's children, especially after Kim Porter's death. If the allegations of grooming and manipulation tied to the Combs household prove to have deeper roots, some wonder whether Janice's presence acted as a stabilizer or a contributor. Was she an active participant in maintaining control over the household and its image, or simply turning a blind eye to escalating issues? This raises a broader question about intergenerational accountability. Can patterns of behavior be passed down within families when early boundaries are never established or challenged? While there is no legal evidence implicating Janice in Diddy's alleged crimes, the perception that she may have helped shape or protect a toxic system has become part of the wider discussion. Whether her involvement was direct or indirect, the emerging narrative paints her not just as a concerned matriarch, but potentially as a foundational figure in a family structure now under intense legal and moral scrutiny. Kim Porter's silent shield. In the wake of Kim Porter's untimely death, questions have emerged about the protective role she may have played in shielding her children from the darker aspects of Sean Diddy Combs' world. While Kim and Diddy had a complex relationship, insiders say she maintained firm boundaries when it came to parenting. Some sources now suggest that her absence removed a key layer of protection for the children, particularly the twins, Jesse and Delilah. These observations have fueled speculation that Kim understood more than she ever publicly acknowledged, and that her parenting choices were guided by the need to keep her children away from troubling dynamics within the household. Multiple people close to Kim have alluded to her being deeply cautious about who interacted with her kids and how they were raised. She reportedly resisted efforts to push the children into the spotlight too early and limited their exposure to certain people in Diddy's inner circle. Some now wonder whether Kim had witnessed or experienced behavior she deemed inappropriate and took quiet steps to keep her children insulated from it. In hindsight, her reluctance to involve the twins in Diddy's public ventures may not have just been about protecting their privacy. It may have been about keeping them away from patterns she knew were harmful. Supporters of this theory point to subtle signs, such as Kim's decision to keep her children out of certain high-profile events and her close relationship with Kimora Lee Simmons, who has also voiced concerns about the twins' environment since Kim's passing. There's also the matter of Kim's sudden death, which some online commentators continue to view with suspicion. While the official cause was pneumonia, the timing and the vacuum it left behind have raised difficult questions. Did Kim know something about Diddy's world that made her extra cautious with her kids? And did her absence allow others to fill that gap with influences she had long worked to avoid? Though there is no direct evidence that Kim explicitly warned others about any dangers, the shift in how the twins have been managed posthumously has been noticeable. With Diddy facing serious legal scrutiny and Janice Combs' role under question, Kim's quiet yet consistent parenting now stands in contrast. It's unclear how much she knew or feared, but in light of the allegations surfacing today, many are re-examining her actions as those of a mother who may have sensed trouble and tried, however subtly, to keep her children out of its reach. The Combs children's polished presence. As Sean Diddy Combs faces a series of serious allegations in federal court, the public has been closely watching how his children have responded to the proceedings. On the surface, they've appeared united, frequently showing up to court as a family, and offering subtle visual cues of solidarity. Jesse and Delilah, along with their siblings, have been photographed holding hands, sitting close, and maintaining composed expressions. This coordinated presence has led many to assume that the family is standing by Diddy during this legal crisis. But some insiders and online commentators have started asking whether this show of unity is authentic or a carefully managed public relations move. The timing and consistency of the family's appearances have raised eyebrows, especially considering the highly graphic nature of some courtroom testimonies. Critics note that for a family reportedly under emotional strain, their ability to project calm and control seems unusually polished. Some speculate that the Combs legal and PR teams may have encouraged the children to attend court not just for emotional support, but to counteract negative press. By presenting a cohesive, composed image to the media, the family may be trying to signal loyalty and minimize public perception of internal dysfunction. Is it genuine family support or image management under pressure? Several legal analysts and commentators have pointed out how courtroom optics can influence public perception, especially in high-profile cases. The sight of a well-dressed, composed family unit may evoke sympathy or suggest that Diddy remains a respected father figure despite the accusations. This kind of strategy isn't uncommon in celebrity trials, where even seating arrangements and facial expressions can be interpreted as calculated signals. While the children may be genuinely trying to support their father, some observers question whether they're also under pressure to maintain appearances for the sake of brand reputation or legal strategy. This leads to broader concerns about the children's autonomy and emotional state during the trial. Are they participating in court appearances by choice, or is there an unspoken expectation to protect the family image at all costs? Given the intensity of the allegations and the complex dynamics within the Combs household, it's fair to ask whether the family's courtroom behavior reflects reality, or a narrative carefully curated for public consumption. Without direct insight into their private conversations, the answers remain speculative, but the consistency of their presence continues to invite scrutiny amid a case already clouded by secrecy and control. Fire at Kimora's home sparks tension rumors. The recent fire at Kimora Lee Simmons' Los Angeles home has raised serious questions among those closely following the Combs family saga. The incident, which reportedly occurred shortly after Kimora made a cryptic social media post suggesting someone was playing with the wrong one, has stirred speculation about whether it was merely an accident or something more sinister. While official reports labeled the fire as accidental and attributed it to an electrical issue, the timing, context, and rising tensions within the Combs inner circle have made some observers suspicious. Could this fire have been a warning directed at Kimora for her growing involvement in the legal proceedings surrounding Sean Diddy Combs? Kimora has become increasingly vocal in her support of Kim Porter's daughters, Jessie and Delilah, amid mounting allegations against Diddy and growing scrutiny of his mother, Janice Combs. Her presence at court, rumored confrontations with Janice, and public advocacy for the twins' well-being have placed her in direct conflict with powerful figures in the Combs circle. For some, this raised the stakes significantly, especially if there are individuals determined to silence or intimidate those seen as disrupting the status quo. Though no evidence directly links the fire to foul play, the coincidence has fueled speculation that it could have been a subtle message: back off. Adding weight to the speculation is the broader context of fear and control that's been reported throughout Diddy's legal entanglements. Former associates and accusers have described a pattern of intimidation tactics used to protect reputations and suppress information. While these accounts remain unproven in court, the atmosphere surrounding the case is charged with unease. In that environment, the sudden outbreak of a fire at the home of someone closely connected to the court narrative, even if ruled accidental, inevitably draws suspicion. If Kimora's post was intended as a warning of her own, it suggests she may already feel targeted. The unanswered question remains: was the fire an unfortunate incident amplified by timing, or part of a larger effort to exert pressure behind the scenes? Without further evidence, it's impossible to say definitively. However, in a case where power, image, and control have been central themes, even seemingly unrelated events are being reinterpreted through a lens of caution. For now, the fire lingers as a shadow over an already volatile situation, one that raises concerns about who feels threatened and what lengths someone might go to in order to maintain silence. Combs' legacy under fire for repeating trauma. As the spotlight intensifies on Sean Diddy Combs and his family, a larger pattern appears to be emerging, one that spans generations. Critics and cultural observers are beginning to ask whether the Combs family is caught in a cycle of grooming, control, and emotional trauma that keeps repeating itself. From the disturbing accounts tied to Diddy's upbringing to the allegations involving his current household, the echoes between past and present are becoming harder to ignore. Is this just coincidence, or does it suggest that unresolved trauma from one generation is being passed on to the next? The concern centers around how certain behaviors, allegedly experienced by Diddy in childhood, may be resurfacing in how his own children are raised and managed. Some observers have pointed out that the same themes that define Diddy's early environment, such as premature exposure to adult content, emotional distance, and strict image control, are now being tied to the experiences of his twin daughters. Reports of possible grooming, public image curation, and the emotional distress witnessed in court all hint at a system where children are shaped more for legacy than individual autonomy. Is this a reflection of generational trauma left unaddressed? Even those close to the family appear to be questioning the internal dynamics. Kimora Lee Simmons' increasing involvement in the twins' lives has sparked speculation that she sees patterns repeating and is trying to intervene before long-term damage is done. In this context, her courtroom confrontations and protective stance may represent more than just friendship. They could be an attempt to break a cycle that she believes has gone unchallenged for too long. The question remains, can outside influence ever be enough to undo years of internalized family norms? At the core of this discussion is whether a family legacy built on power, celebrity, and secrecy can allow space for real healing and change. Breaking generational cycles requires not only acknowledgement, but accountability, a difficult task for any high-profile family, especially one under federal investigation. If the allegations continue to build and more details are revealed, the Combs name could come to symbolize not just a music empire, but also a cautionary tale of how trauma, when left unchecked, doesn't fade, it mutates. Whether that cycle can be broken depends not only on legal outcomes, but on whether the family is willing to face what's been hidden for generations. Do you think Kimora Lee was right to confront Janice Combs in court, or did she go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more updates, and don't forget to check out one of the 2 videos on your screen for more deep dives into the Combs family saga.